Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going in Raw. We do not have the talented Mr. Dan NerdCubed with us today.
Nope.
We have asked him and have received his blessing if we can start doing this on a weekly basis, and his participation would remain monthly post pay-per-views.
Yeah.
We totally offered. We said, hey, we're going to do this weekly. Do you want to come on weekly? And he said, there's no chance in hell I can talk about what did he say again? You're the one who actually talked to him.
He just with his schedule he couldn't watch all the wrestling that was on.
What was it? Do you think that it was because of his schedule, or because nobody in their right mind would want to A, talk wrestling every week, or B, watch wrestling every week? Don't know.
I mean, it is a lot of wrestling to watch. I don't watch it all, so
no. My point is, I don't know anybody who's sane that would want to do this on a weekly basis.
So you're just calling us insane people?
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Okay. Well, we don't watch all the wrestling. We don't watch TNA.
You didn't even watch Raw last night.
No, my wife commandeered the television last night.
You need like a second setup of some sort.
I'm fine with the one.
You have okay. So anyways, we figured also, because Dan is relatively new to wrestling, part of the experience of Going in Raw with Dan is that we are his personal curators for the history of wrestling.
Yeah.
And given that we can talk about wrestling all day long, because
easily.
We've been watching it like straight, basically. I mean, we've been at least keeping up for it straight for almost 20 years.
Yeah, pretty consistently, at least for myself, since about 1996.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, 20 years. Yeah.
Even in the what do they call it? The ruthless aggression era, like the mid-aughts, when it was lean pickings. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on, but especially at sort of the later mid, like post mid, I guess the late aughts. It was sort of slim pickings because ECW had run its course in the WWE. The old timers had sort of left. Attitude Era was firmly done.
There was no competition.
There was no competition. It was slim pickings. When you had champions like Edge, Batista. It's granted, I love Batista, but in terms of his championship reign, is not impressive.
Did you have you seen the Batista documentary that WWE did?
No, I never did, because again, there's nothing like the only documentaries I'm really into with the WWE are ones that feature any cable TV from like the early 90s.
Yeah.
Like if you were on cable TV in the early 90s, you're a wrestler I'm probably going to be into because you paid your dues.
Yeah.
Merely going through OVW is not paying your dues, in my opinion.
Hold on, I knocked over my mic. I'm sorry. This is going to be all sorts of noise.
It gave me time to cough.
Okay, good. Yeah. Oh, I started watching the Batista one, and I didn't get through it all the way.
It seemed kind of boring.
It's okay.
Yeah. When somebody says you want to watch an entire documentary on Dave Batista, no, not really. Sorry. My response is there any cable TV footage of Batista in the early 90s?
No, there's not.
Then no, I don't want to see it. If you weren't part of WCW in 1993, I want nothing to do with you whatsoever. Unless you're Jericho, in which case you're 1996. What are you typing right now?
I'm doing a Reddit thing for our questions for the podcast for the win later.
Okay. Well, you need to keep all eyes over here. You need to pay attention to this podcast.
I am paying attention.
You're not.
I can multitask.
You're typing, and I can hear it.
Oh, okay.
This podcast is already going to shit. Just act like Dan's here, then you'll be on your best behavior.
No,
you don't mind looking like an asshole in front of me.
No, I don't. That's why I was typing.
But when Dan's here, you got to be on best behavior. So just imagine that Dan's here.
Okay, I'll imagine that Dan's here. I need to make up some Dan notes.
Yeah, I know you do need to make up some Dan notes.
Because that's easily the best part of Going in Raw is listening to his thorough notes and very entertaining notes.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
He does a great job of that.
So we're going to do some. So it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to get guests on here.
Yeah, we'll try.
So it's not just you and I rambling, but for some people like that. Some people are okay with that. Anyways, this edition we're gonna kick it off with a segment or with our main topic du jour is...
Yeah, well, here, I'll introduce this because this is a question that needs to be posed to you.
Yes.
I think a lot of people know that we bought tickets to go to WrestleMania this year since it's kind of in our backyard. It's in the Bay Area, which is a couple hours away from where we live.
Correct.
And when tickets were on sale, even though we kind of knew how at least the major storylines were going to play out, we were pretty excited. We wanted to go.
Yeah.
And recently, you've had a change of heart on going, and I know you've expressed several reasons why.
Yeah.
But I think, first of all, I want to know how the quality of the card is impacting that decision, and then we'll go from there about how we can potentially make the card better. So go.
Okay. To your first question, much is how better the card could be to convince...
I thought you said lunch.
...me to go. Lunch as well? You know, I like lunch. Excuse me, I have a nasty cough today. Yeah, the card, there are high points to the card. It could end up being a thoroughly entertaining WrestleMania. I think the card does have potential, but understanding, I shouldn't say understanding, because I don't like to presume that I can know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm not that presumptive. I'm not presumptuous.
That's the word.
But just given, however, the recent history of how they book things, I don't find a lot of reason to see that there might be. I mean, just look at Fastlane. Fastlane was terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
It was awful. The Royal Rumble match itself was awful.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
And so I don't think, given the recent history and what they've been doing creatively, I don't think that potential is all that strong. I think there's plenty of good talent. They haven't announced an NXT match, have they?
No.
Okay.
I don't think they will.
That could be interesting. That could be something that should be on the card, and it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
here, let's go match by match.
Yeah. Okay.
Here. Yeah. And let's talk about what we like.
Yes.
What we don't like. How it can be improved. Yep. If it can be salvaged at all.
Okay.
So I have the card matches announced and also rumored matches here in front of me.
But before we get into this, though, there are two other reasons why I decided not to go to WrestleMania. Why I decided to task you with selling my ticket.
Yeah.
Reason number one, as everybody kind of knows at this point, we a couple weeks ago were laid off from Machinima.
Mm-hmm.
And then subsequently, we're back with Machinima with our podcast for the win.
Yeah.
Which kind of nullified the getting laid off thing.
Yeah.
But when I got laid off, I instantly went into frugal mode.
Yeah.
And frugal Steve is a bitch to deal with because all of a sudden I don't want to do shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, and to be honest, it's not that different from normal Steve in terms of wanting to do stuff or not.
That's true. I could justify going to WrestleMania easily within frugal Steve mode. So,
oh yeah, I mean, you already gave me the money for your ticket. That money's already spent.
Right, but knowing
the only reason I'm giving it back is out of the goodness of my heart. I don't have to do that.
Knowing that I could get a $200 refund is pretty enticing to me. Because at the end of the day, on that Monday following Raw, I might be $200 richer. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And not even
no,
give
I
a
understand
shit.
that.
The second thing, and honestly, this kind of figures into it more. A couple weeks ago, or a month ago, or 2 months ago, whatever it was, I had the experience of being front row at a B-Team WWE house show. Now, to me, there's no way, because I've been to WrestleMania. I went to WrestleMania 21 before.
Yeah.
And those seats are probably about, I'd say within 20% or so, where we are going to be or where those tickets that you bought are at in Santa Fe?
Santa Clara. Santa Clara.
Mexico, yeah. Santa Clara, Thank you. I know it was a Santa something. And so I don't think that experience will be much different from the one that we're about to go to.
Well, that Hilton and I are about to go to.
That you're about to go to, correct. I'm glad that you already have it in your head that you're getting me my $200 back. That's good.
Well, I mean, I have to sell the tickets first.
You need to get on that. You need to press that button.
I am exploring all avenues.
I don't think you are. I don't think you have quite yet.
Okay.
Anyways, being at that, even though it was a B-Team show, I didn't get my Paige. I didn't get my Seth Rollins, which are my two favorite things in the WWE right now. I didn't get Cena, which I don't care about. I didn't get Dean Ambrose. The main event was Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Big Show and Kane were there.
Here, let me ask you this, because I'm going to cut to the chase, because the card's irrelevant. You're talking about the experience, especially because you know it's the B team there.
Yeah.
If you hadn't gotten a selfie with Roman Reigns at that show, would you...
I would say the likelihood would be 30% more than I would go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Roman Reigns taking a selfie with me was about 30% of my decision not to go to WrestleMania.
See, in my mind... and you've used this analogy before, where I got us really good tickets for a Radiohead show. We were in
that was the feat
20
of your
feet
life.
from the stage.
Yeah.
And so after that, you said concerts are spoiled from you because you don't think you could capture that same experience.
Every subsequent concert I've been to has been shit compared to that.
See, but this is where I look at it this way. Each experience is unique, is different. It has its own pluses and minuses. Like, I've seen Radiohead after that show, and I've enjoyed myself plenty because it's always, while it's not the same experience because we're not as close, it's a different experience because, they play different songs. The crowd's different. The experience in terms of the light show, the whole package is different.
Okay.
So I'm just speaking for myself here.
Yeah.
I have to take each experience as an individual thing and try not to compare it to something previously. Otherwise, I won't enjoy anything anymore.
My friend, we have been listing things for the past 5 years and making a living off of it. And my thing is this: with you replace the word, you replace the phrase "not as good" with the phrase "different." You do this with many things. Peanut butter and almond butter.
Yeah, they're two different things.
It's a different experience, but there would be no almond butter if people didn't like how fattening peanut butter was.
No, almond butter is not any better for you. It's not.
What's the difference then?
It just tastes different.
Why does almond butter exist?
Because people like the taste of butter in almond form, I guess.
Wrong. That is incorrect.
Some people do.
I guarantee almond butter is some sort of shitty replacement for peanut butter.
It might be in some people's minds, but if you look at the labels for each of them,
why it was created.
If you look at the labels to both of them, there's not a lot of difference.
If you were to remove yourself from your body in space and time, and through some divine force were offered the opportunity to go back to any Radiohead concert in your life, which one would you then choose?
The first one we went to in San Francisco because that was the first time I saw it.
No,
I would.
That's
Absolutely.
bullshit.
No,
you're not gonna choose being that far away rather than being in the pit.
See, for me, the experience isn't proximity to the stage. As in, if I'm closer to the stage, the better the show is.
It's exactly what the experience is. The closer you are to the action happening, the better it is.
Absolutely not. That's
factual.
not how. No, it's not factual. That's subjective.
Need to do
That's
a
your
poll
opinion.
Because that is true.
Go ahead.
The closer
Listen. No, let me finish.
Hold on.
Let me finish.
If Tom York threw up on your face, then maybe you'd have a point here. If he farted and you smelled it, that's gross. I don't want to be that close to Tom York if he's farting on my head.
No, that might be a plus. Here's a example I'll give you. In the span of like 2 months, I saw Sigur Rós twice.
Yeah.
Once in L.A. at the Hollywood Bowl, where we had good seats, but we weren't like super close.
Sure.
And another time up here in Northern California, where we were literally on the cusp of the stage. We couldn't be any closer.
Yeah, beautiful.
The Hollywood show was infinitely better because we were far enough back that we could take everything in terms of the light show and the experience of the whole presentation they put forth, which is really good because they put on that tour they put a screen down and projected stuff on it and stuff that was in front of the stage, and you really had to step back a bit to really enjoy it and not get seizures because it was pretty intense. And also that night where we were super close, they weren't as sharp as they were at the Hollywood Bowl show. The overall presentation at the Hollywood Bowl show was vastly superior to the show up in Marin County. Even though in Marin County, we couldn't, if we were any closer, we would have been on stage with the band.
Yeah.
And my first experience with that Radiohead concert we went to in San Francisco back in 1998. It was the first time we saw him.
Yes.
Ever. I mean, in terms of nostalgia and just being the first time we've seen him, and they put on a fucking great show. Mm-hmm. That will always be my seminal Radiohead moment.
Yeah.
Regardless of where we were in proximity to the stage, that for me, I have the most visceral emotional reaction thinking back on that show as opposed to one where we were 20 feet from the stage. I barely remember that show.
Man,
I remember being there. I remember it being cool.
That's weird. That's
I remember what songs they played, but I will never forget the first time we saw them.
I barely remember the first time we saw them, and I was there. And I remember like it was yesterday, the pitch show.
Okay.
Your brain doesn't work correctly. So
no,
anyways,
it works
let's
differently.
take a look at this WrestleMania card.
Okay. See, I'm still trying to convince you to go to WrestleMania because
What's that?
It's a different experience. Going to WrestleMania will be a completely different experience than going to the house show because you'll be with Hilton and I. We'll have a great time. That can't be argued.
Anytime I'm with you in Hilton, we can be in the pit, we can be in an ISIS cave when we have a great time. I'm totally fine with that. Like being with you guys is fine. I'm telling you right now, if you guys were at my house watching WrestleMania, I would have a better time then than it being at WrestleMania with you guys.
Okay.
That's me. My brain works properly. Let's run down this match.
You also don't like going anywhere, so that's part of it.
I'm fine going someplace. If you said I was at the house show front row, I went to that. If you said we were the front row in WrestleMania, I'm fine going to that. I love going out.
Do you really want to spend like $3,000 a ticket to be front row at WrestleMania?
You said we got it for $200, I'd go.
Well, see, that's not a possibility, so it's a moot point.
You know, you're a bummer.
No, I'm a realist.
I know, a.k.a. a bummer.
Whatever. All right, on the list of matches I have here, well, let's talk about the ones that haven't been officially announced but are going to happen.
Okay.
Because I think this match might kick off the card, and I hope it does because it'll be a good one.
Rollins
Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I was just watching. I had Hulu playing on my on my laptop over here, and Orton's ripping apart Rollins on Raw. He turned on the Authority on Raw.
Oh, I heard about that. I haven't watched it. I read about it, but
the opening of Raw is great. I love Rollins for so many different reasons. Like he's fucking amazing. Like I personally think he is the best wrestler on the roster.
Oh yeah.
I think he has developed somehow from the weak talker on. I mean, well, Reigns was always the weak talker on the Shield, but Rollins was not really supposed to be much better than him.
Yeah,
and he is probably my favorite talker right now.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
It's weird. Two guys that I never thought I'd enjoy hearing him talk. Rollins, and of all people, Rusev. Love, like Rusev cut a promo on America tonight, and I was like, man, I fucking love that they're letting him talk more. He is so fucking violent with the way he talks. It's great.
Mm-hmm. You used to absolutely despise Rusev.
I did, and he has totally grown on me. Yeah,
because you were just basing it entirely on the fact that he kind of had a little bit of man boob.
Hey, you know what? He's the exception that proves the rule, though, because Rusev is the only guy that looks like that I've ever really appreciated, and it's in spite of his body.
Do you not like Bray Wyatt?
We've talked about this. It's different. His presentation is far different.
Okay, but if we're talking strictly body types.
No, we're not. We're talking about presentation of body types.
Okay.
When you come out and you're
No, I know what you're saying, but
when you're showing off your man tits to everybody and you're supposed to be dominating, like if Bray Wyatt came out in trunks, yeah, I would be like, I don't care what's coming out of his mouth, however brilliant it is or weird. I don't buy you. You look like you should be on a Lazy Boy somewhere. But the presentation, like the way he covers up his fatness.
Yeah. I understand you. Yeah. I understand you. We've talked about it before.
Rollins Orton, I think, is going to be a hell of a match. You're right.
Yeah. I think this is one of the few storylines that they're doing well because they did the slow burn with Orton instead of having him just come back in and beat the shit out of Rollins right away. He kind of worked his way back into the Authority's good graces.
Yeah.
And then swerved him.
Rollins is great, man. At the beginning of Raw, they all come out together, and everybody expects Orton to sort of turn on the Authority because of whatever happened last week.
Yeah.
And Orton starts, after hearing from, Rollins and the gang, Orton starts ripping into each one, like one by one. He's like, screw you, screw you. And then and he says, you know what? I'm just kidding. We're all having a good time here. And everybody else kind of butthurt, but Rollins buys into it. And he's like, ha, 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 that's great. You guys, you really got us. We're all having fun here. He's like there's bits and pieces that remind me of this bit Ron Burgundy-ish there. Yeah. We are laughing and having fun.
Yeah.
And then, he said, the Viper strikes again. I don't know. He is so into it. His character, there's nothing ambiguous necessarily about his character. He is full on in character, and it's brilliant. It is absolutely a masterwork. This is probably, I have no doubt this is going to be a great match. Who do you think is going to go over here?
I would think it has to be Rollins.
I would think so too. I think Randy Orton's position right now is He needs to. He's going to be putting people over. But I think it's going to be a hell of a match.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Orton, especially if his new anti-authority storyline kind of kicks off and kind of resuscitates him.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got back into the main event picture at all. Yeah,
that'll be interesting to see. I would tend to think that.
I'll say this: if he can find an edge to his character,
yeah,
and that connects with the crowd, then he will be back in the main event picture. If he realizes, if this is gonna be their protracted phase where he's gonna be going from feud to feud with not much direction,
mm-hmm.
he might go back to being kind of lazy.
I think the only reason storyline wise, like writing wise, the only way he'd be back in the main event picture is if and when Rollins gets the title, because I think that's going to happen sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then I could see the Authority versus Orton for the belt being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, maybe Orton will take the belt. I don't know. I think they've got bigger. I think they have loftier plans for the belt, though. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. So anyways, that's going to be a good one. What's next?
AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bella Twins.
Oh, man. FapFest 3000. That's one reason I'm not going to WrestleMania, because I want to be like Jonah Hill and Wolf of Wall Street. Because I love them all. As soon as they all come out, I'm just going to be like him. Just like, oh, that's perfect. For anybody who hasn't seen the Wolf of Wall Street, like the best scene in that movie is when Jonah Hill starts whacking it right in front
his party.
At his party. Just in front of everybody.
Oh no, it's Leo DiCaprio's party.
Right.
Leo's house. Yeah.
And,
but it's a big party, and he
sees somebody that he thinks is hot, and he just starts whacking it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that would be me at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah.
So.
My question for this match is, how come the title isn't on the line?
This is okay. This is one of the first. This is the first thing that we've gotten into immediately. That this is the bad match.
Yeah.
I love all these people. It's the bad match.
Yeah.
This should be. I mean, honestly, it should be Paige versus Nikki Bella for the belt.
Yeah.
This should be.
I didn't even mind the tag format so much, but have the belt on the line still. Whoever gets the pin gets the belt.
When's the last time they've done that, though?
A while.
A tag match. It's been a while since they've done it. I mean, I like that. That's cool. The problem here, though, Larson, is that's creative.
Yeah, I know.
And WWE tends to stay away from creative these days.
I know. I mean, just think of the story potentials you have.
I agree. Potential up the ass, man.
AJ and Paige, they're both going for the belt. There's tension there, even between the Bella Twins. If Brie decides she wants that belt, she'll make the pin and screw Nikki over. There's so many more storylines.
Arguably, this is the most talented roster across the board than we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And there is potential up the ass, but we know it's not going to happen. I mean, obviously we know it's not going to happen because it hasn't been a thing. This should be a dramatic, awesome match for what should be called the women's title, not the Divas title. Should be called the women's title.
Yeah.
Give it more respect. Give it its due. Let the females fight and show that they can hang with the guys.
Yeah, like they did, like in NXT. They're given that opportunity. They're given their 12, 15 minutes to put on a show, and they do, and they're great.
Exactly correct.
And then at WrestleMania, this match will probably get 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And there'll probably be some stunt finish.
Yep.
And then that'll be that.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to go over in this? It's got to be the first feel-good match, because I think Rollins is going to win the first one, and that's establishes a heel.
Well, I don't know what the order of this whole thing is going to be. But
good point. Yeah. This is probably going to go on before the main event.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's another rumored match, which would be, and this is all kind of dependent, I think, on whether Stardust is going to be in the Intercontinental title match or not. But it'd be nice to see Stardust and Goldust at WrestleMania. That'd be great.
Yeah, I don't think. Stardust fought Ambrose this past week, and he was, I think last week he was trying to grab that Intercontinental belt from R-Truth or somebody. I forget who.
Yeah.
And so he probably will be.
What? Yeah.
Bummer, because him versus Goldust. I mean, that's again, it's a no-brainer to have the Rhodes brothers, but instead they got a fast lane.
Yeah, I don't know why they did it Fastlane, and the match was kind of meh.
I know. It's a perfect match for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
So there you go. Waste potential.
We never said who's. Did we ever say who's going to win the AJ?
I think it'll be Paige and
I do
Nikki.
too.
I mean, I think it's I mean, this is your standard feud. This is the standard blow-off match for that feud.
I know. So Paige gets the belt.
Yeah.
And then we have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle
Paige
Royale.
They just win.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
They get the
AJ.
win,
Well, so it's kind of an empty win, but a win nonetheless.
Empty win is correct.
The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which last year seemed like it was an interesting proposition because you had Cesaro, who was riding a wave of popularity thanks to his swing, the king of swing, and then that immediately just went to shit.
How many people are in the IC ladder match?
There's 5 confirmed.
Okay.
And then,
this is just another way to get like the rest of the roster.
More people, yeah.
Okay.
And the confirmed participants so far are The Miz, Curtis Axel, Ryback, Fandango, Adam Rose, Zack Ryder, Jack Swagger, Titus O'Neil, Darren Young, Big Show, Kane, Eric Rowan, and Mizdow. Those are the confirmed participants so far.
I'm gonna go with who do you think is gonna win this?
I really want Titus O'Neil to win.
That's not
because he's
happen.
great.
It's not going to happen.
But I think Mizdow's going to win.
I was going to agree with Mizdow. I think that this is going to be his reward for what feels like years of servitude to the Miz.
Yeah. But I just hope that this time, if they're using this Battle Royal as a launching pad, that they actually follow through on it instead of what they did with Cesaro. Because if they kept Cesaro face after that match, he would have been, I don't know if he'd be a main eventer, but he'd be much higher on the card than he is now.
He'd be in the
I mean, granted, I love Cesaro and Kid as a tag team. I think they're great. They're fun to watch. But
Cesaro should have been alone.
Yeah, he should. And he could have been so much higher on the card.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I agree with what you say about Mizdow. The difference between Mizdow and Cesaro, obviously, I mean, they're sort of a trade-off. Mizdow isn't the best, Mizdow is not the physical specimen wrestler guy.
Oh, no. I mean, he's not a bad wrestler.
No, he's not bad at all. It's just that was Cesaro's thing, is that he did the swing move, and he did a lot of cool shit, and he seemed to be pound for pound, like his muscles seemed to be stronger than everybody else's muscle.
Yeah.
So pound for pound, he seemed like the strongest dude on the roster because he would do crazy stuff. Mizdow's not that guy, but Mizdow has what seems to be what Vince considers a much stronger selling point for a wrestler these days, and he's got mic skills.
Yeah.
He has got personality and charisma out the ass, and it was always bizarre to me that he was the first guy to, I think, lose the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Briefcase. He had the briefcase and he cashed it in and he lost.
Yeah, I mean his intellectual savior character was funny as shit. Yeah, he was great.
So hopefully, I hope you're right. Hopefully that they do him justice here.
Yeah, this isn't so much, I think, a case of bad booking leading up to the match. It's just how they follow through with it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because the booking on the story has actually been really good.
Yeah.
The writing's been really good on this one.
Next up on this list, we have the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Wade Barrett, Luke Harper.
Kind of weird they're doing 2 clusterfuck matches on the same card.
Well, there's a lot of talent to get on the card.
True.
R-Truth, Ambrose, and Dolph Ziggler all confirmed so far. Daniel Bryan expected to be added at some juncture. So I actually have been enjoying the storyline quite a bit.
Yeah, it's been good. They've been pretty creative. This is one of those things where it doesn't necessarily enhance the IC title, but they've been very creative with using that as the goal,
Yeah, I mean, they're making the title a belt that people want, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. People actually want it.
So, and R-Truth has been hilarious through this whole storyline. He's been great.
I wish this is never going to happen. I wish they would let R-Truth win.
Me too.
Because he's great. He's always been great. And he was in The Wrestler.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that Daniel Bryan. I like that Daniel Bryan understand. He's completely confident in his role, and that they can move him into any program, and people will love him. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be a world title holder again one day, as long as he remains healthy. Mm-hmm. Watching him wrestle still kind of makes me hurt because I'm like, I don't want to see him injured. He's so fucking entertaining.
I know. So who's your pick to win this match?
Jeez. Bryan, Ziggler, Barrett, Truth, and Rowan, right? No.
Ambrose.
Ambrose.
And it's Harper, not Rowan.
And Harper, not. Oh, and Harper. Okay. Rowan isn't the Andre the Giant one.
Yeah.
Harper. Okay. Harper's not going to win. Who isn't going to win? Harper and Truth are not going to win. Barrett, I have a really hard time seeing winning this. Mm-hmm. Which leaves Bryan, Ziggler, and Ambrose. I'm going to say this is going to... It's so beneath him, I think, but I could see Bryan winning this.
Oh, yeah, I can too.
Ziggler's had the belt forever. I don't see him benefiting from winning this at all.
It's going to be either Daniel Bryan or Ambrose. And I think I read somewhere that this is the only belt Daniel Bryan has yet to win in WWE. So
that could be the story then.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is the IC champion, brings legitimacy to the belt. John Cena with the U.S. championship. Hell, maybe they're trying to make the belts mean something by giving them to all sort of main eventer-ish guys.
Could be. That could
main
be.
event
well,
qualified guys.
While you talked about that, let's move on to the U.S. title belt match: Cena versus Rusev.
Are you still convinced that Rusev is going to win this?
I'm not convinced, but I hope he does. I really hope he does. Because I think Rusev winning will give not quite just as much. Will also give legitimacy to the belt. Because he beat John Cena to keep it.
You don't think Cena has to hold it to maintain legitimacy?
No.
Okay.
No, I think you could build a new champion, a new superstar, and still bring legitimacy to the belt if he's as dominant as Rusev has been.
I am torn on this. I think this. I think Cena winning and then Rusev getting the belt back might be stronger for everybody involved than Cena. I mean, I know Cena just lost at Fastlane.
Yeah.
Was that a legit loss? I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah. Lana came into the ring and distracted the ref, and Rusev hit Cena in the bollocks.
Oh, okay.
And then got him in the acolyte. And,
for Cena, that's still
that's
still a legitimate win though. Because Cena, he can overcome much more than that. God, this is a tough one. Let's see. Okay, well, let's see. There are too many feel-good moments on the pay-per-view already for me to believe that Cena is going to win. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking,
but also the idea of Cena losing at WrestleMania seems
really weird.
Yeah, it seems somewhat implausible.
And I think even more so, America losing at WrestleMania seems really implausible.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay because I was thinking this the entire time. I think those two overriding facts were just too much for me. Mm-hmm. I think Cena probably wins. And I think the idea of Cena with the U.S. title, which is what he won like his first night out or something like that. I think Cena with the U.S. belt and then Rusev maybe wins it back. What's the next big pay-per-view?
The next big one after this is SummerSlam.
It's not till SummerSlam, huh? Okay.
Yeah. The pay-per-view after this one is...
It's not gonna be Rusev Cena at SummerSlam.
No.
Geez.
I was kind of thinking too that and they could still do this.
You always have really creative thoughts that never pan out. Yeah. So I like to hear what you have to say and then be disappointed.
And it might be I guess it depends if Rusev loses, how they build him afterwards. That they were building up Rusev to be the kind of, well, they already have, as especially if Brock leaves, the number one monster heel in the company. Yeah. And if you want to cement Reigns' status as champion, Rusev should be one of the first guys they feed him.
Right.
And I don't know if Rusev is more formidable with or without the belt, without the U.S. belt.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of depends too on their future plans. Because I mean, like the Lesnar Reigns match has obviously been in the works for more than a year.
Oh yeah.
Because the primary reason Brock beat the Undertaker last year was to build him up, so when Roman beats him, it's all the more impressive.
Yeah. It's funny, we bitch when they have long-term plans, and we bitch when they don't have long-term plans.
Yeah, I know.
We want them to have our long-term plans.
Exactly.
We're the worst wrestling people ever.
I think we're just kind of wrestling people, though.
Yeah, that's just the definition of wrestling people. We're not the kind who goes to WWE house shows and says, "There's a shoplifter in the ring." I hate people so much. God, I hate people. Oh, they're the worst. Anyways.
Next up, Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt.
Undertaker. Sorry.
Bray Wyatt's done a great job of carrying this feud so far.
He has no choice. Yeah, I hate it. I fucking can't say it. I love Bray Wyatt. I love him, but he is proof positive that unless you have steaks, not eating steaks.
Yeah.
Unless you have real...
Something on the line, yes.
Something on the line. The best talker literally in the world, because he is that.
Yeah.
He is the best promo guy right now. And I would honestly say, even in his short career so far as Bray Wyatt, he's, to me, top 5 all time. He is so fucking good. Mm-hmm. There's so much conviction, and talk about in his character.
Oh yeah.
And even in his media appearances, he walks a really cool line between being in character and out of character.
Yeah.
And that's tough to do these days.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Undertaker wins.
Yeah.
This whole build-up, I mean, I get that the Undertaker is, like, busted up. He can't show up anywhere. I mean, I guess that's why. Or maybe they just... Do you think this is fucking strategy, like, for him not to be around?
No, I think they're just trying to build some intrigue based on him losing last year, whether he'll show up or... Well, I think they really should have played it up so you didn't know if he was going to show up or not till WrestleMania. His statement last night, I don't know if it was necessary. I think it'd been more interesting if Bray kept on coming out and calling him out week after week after week, and then Undertaker said nothing, and then Bray comes out to the ring at WrestleMania and calls him out one final time. Gong hits, Undertaker comes out, we have a match. I think that'd have been more interesting.
I don't know how any of this could be interesting, to be honest with you. I look back on the last time the Undertaker's WrestleMania programs were interesting, and it was Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Mm-hmm. All those like 4 matches or whatever it was, in a row where they were all 3 kind of involved in some way or another, was amazing. Yeah, and I still maintain that their curtain call on that last Triple H match, should have been it. Yeah, because that was brilliant, and they broke down the fourth wall. They broke kayfabe. It was amazing. Yep. I thought the CM Punk thing was, to me, kind of reminiscent of what Bray Wyatt's doing now. Mm-hmm. They're just making it about his supernatural thing, and that's it, and his legacy, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I just don't buy it. I love Bray Wyatt. I love he's coming out, but I don't care. Like, when his gong hits and he just shows up, I'm terrified, and I'd like to be terrified leading up to WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I love Bray Wyatt. I love the Undertaker. I love his annual shit, but I don't like.
You know what I think? How they should build the Undertaker for this match is just have Michelle McCool post more pictures of him working out on Instagram, and to show the Undertaker is in shape.
I don't remember her having such an accent. I've seen some of her Instagram videos, and she's like, "Hey y'all, we're gonna blah blah," but like she sounds like she's been hanging out in Texas a lot.
Well, that's where Undertaker lives.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, Michelle, you'd be hotter if you had the power of a Texas accent. I like the Southern bells when I'm in hell. I don't know. In my mind, he's just always in character. Yeah. Even when he looks so old, though.
Yeah, I know. Man. He does. I hope he doesn't dye his hair this year. Just come out all gray.
I want him to come out. I just want to come out in his, like, sweat shorts. Like, I want him to come out as if he's getting out of the limo that he got into when he left WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just really just stiff and broken and stuff. Like,
he's still somewhat concussed.
Exactly, yeah. And that's his angle. He got into the limo, and it was a future machine.
It's a time capsule.
Yeah, they buried Undertaker in a time capsule.
He was in cryogenic freeze for a year.
Exactly. Well, they didn't fix him. It just comes out all broken. I could have used that year to recuperate.
Oh, man. All right, Triple H versus Sting.
Yeah, Sting is going to win this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, dude, you didn't see Raw, so you didn't see this.
I heard about the Sting promo.
Oh, my God, it was dumb.
Yeah.
Why change his voice?
It might not have been his voice, and so they had to do something with it, so you didn't know. Oh, it wasn't his voice.
Well, hold on. Who is this? I'm afraid to move OBS. Wrestling Inc. says backstage update is that it was his voice altered.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense then.
And maybe, what we should do? Obviously, we should toss it into Final Cut Pro or Soundtrack or GarageBand or something and change up the modulation.
The pitch?
Shit, the pitch, and see if because we'd recognize it if it was.
Oh, yeah.
I was really bugged by that because it's funny, I caught it on accident. I was just trying to skim through Hulu. So, because I wanted to see Orton, Rollins, I wanted to see Heyman's promo, and then I wanted to see the main event. And I accidentally landed on Sting's promo thing, and I was like, whose fucking voice is this? Why is he saying my and I when he's referencing Sting? Because this is not Steve Borden. But then I looked it up, and apparently, according to one source, it is. So
that's weird.
It is really weird. I guess they plan on him never talking
Well, that's what he did in WCW for a year. He was just up in the rafters. He didn't talk that whole year.
I'm totally fine with him not talking.
Yeah.
I just wish they wouldn't. Yeah, I wish if he does talk, he'd use his own voice.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They just think he's too much of like a surfer guy, I guess. I don't know.
Well, he doesn't say "whoa,"
Yeah, brother.
He doesn't do that. So, in terms of the build to this match, I haven't minded it. I think they're.
Oh, I've been fine with the build on this one because they've been all big mark out moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I guess the motivations for each of them are okay.
Yeah,
more or less.
I wish if Triple H was going to go down the road of it's all about WCW. I like that. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I liked when Flair came out. I wanted a little bit more of that. Like, give us some more historical perspective. Show us some more TV from 1993 WCW.
Well, they did. They had a good 3-minute promo where they had current and past superstars talk about Sting's impact on the industry and a bunch of footage from back in the day.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that. My video is completely
cool.
frozen right now. I don't care. I'm just going to keep on going.
And it was cool. The Flair thing was cool, and when Booker T came on, that was awesome too. That's
cool.
But yeah, it'd been like week after week. It'd been cool if they had brought back some of Sting's contemporaries to talk about him. That would have been neat.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
like bring back Lex Luger.
You know what this should have really been is Triple H transforms into terrorizing. That'd be amazing.
That'd be pretty neat.
He gets a blonde wig and his whatever tights he wore with like rising on his ass or whatever the fuck it was. I forget what it was. Hey. And he just all of a sudden is like he's never been great at promos, but he's all of a sudden like really bad at promos. And he's got that weird soft voice that his younger days had. Sting, I'm here for you.
That'd been good.
No.
Does Arn Anderson still work backstage for WWE?
Probably.
They could have brought him out and talked about it.
I know. That'd be great. Gives a spine buster to somebody. That'd be awesome.
Or I'm trying to think who else is working backstage.
I love Arn Anderson because I know that if I ever once I turn 50 and I'm bald and have old man glasses, I can still be a badass wrestler. Because Arn Anderson has always looked like he's 50.
Yeah.
Today, it's weird. He still looks the same today as he did in the early 90s.
I know.
That's weird.
I know.
I don't get it.
It's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing. It's not like he looks. You never look at Arn Anderson and say, "Man, that dude's a stud. He looks really good. He still looks young." No, it's just he's always looked old.
Yeah, but it's just how he carries himself. He carries himself like he can whip anybody's ass.
Yeah, but he can whip anybody's ass wearing khakis and a polo shirt tucked in.
Yeah,
like a green polo shirt tucked in. Like he wears a Chipton Ross beige polo shirt. I thought that was the sweetest thing in the world. That's an inside joke.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. We're
all right. All we got left is the main event. Brock Lesnar, versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
WWE.
And this one, while I love Brock Lesnar, I don't love him. I find him interesting.
You love him.
He's fun to watch, but they've kind of in multiple ways bungled this match.
I read a great story about this. This is related. Just bear with me. I read a great story about Dan Severn the other day.
Oh, yeah.
About how he had contemplated. I guess they wanted to put him in an angle with. Oh, they wanted to put him in Undertaker's ministry, and tattoo. Obviously not for reals, but 666 on his forehead. And he said he came from a small town. He didn't want to do that. And so they were like, "Well, we're just going to start jobbing you out then." And he said, "Okay, well, it's going to stop me from going to the Royal Rumble and just destroying everybody."
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he was ever in there or what the fuck that was all about. But anyways.
And I don't really know if he could go in there and just destroy everybody either.
You know who could go in there and destroy anybody he wants to? Is Brock Lesnar. And it cracked me up. Heyman's promo was really, really good because it was kind of shoot. And the line of the night, of course, was if Brock Lesnar feels like unifying the WWE Championship and the UFC Championship this summer, he'll do that. And that's true. And my issue is simply believability.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns to me has zero believability. If he beats Brock Lesnar, I do not believe it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like a lot of that is just, I mean, it's everything, but also just the brilliant way that Heyman has built up Brock Lesnar in the past couple of months. Why should we believe for a fucking second? This should be, for so many reasons, this should have been Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I know.
Because it makes sense. Like, you can't call Roman Reigns an underdog.
No.
Because that's not what they're booking him as. They're booking him as Superman.
Yeah, and they've really not done a good job of that either.
They haven't at all. Like, they want us to believe that he's Superman because they just want us to believe he's Superman.
Because they keep saying it. I mean, granted, part of it is he was out for a couple of months injured. You can't really say that's his fault. Those things happen.
Right.
But I mean, how this should have been is Brock is booked as the beast, the monster, which he has been. But they're wasting, it seems to me, so many opportunities. Excuse me. Having him come out week after week just to stand next to Heyman while Heyman talks.
Yeah.
Have him destroy somebody every week.
Yeah.
He is the unstoppable force.
Yeah.
And they got to build. If they had built Reigns up to be WWE's last best hope of defeating Brock Lesnar, then there's actually a story there.
What if they did this? What if they inserted Brock for 1 week each, like you're saying, in each of the lead up programs to WrestleMania? Like, somebody gets over, bad news, Barrett, and Daniel Bryan's out there. Brock Lesnar comes out to the ring, destroys whoever's standing, and that's his statement. You know what?
Yeah.
That none of the other cards matter. None of the other matches matter because of me, Brock Lesnar.
None of the other wrestlers matter because of me, Brock Lesnar.
Exactly. He does that to everybody.
Yeah.
But what if Roman Reigns is the one guy who sort of stands up to him until there's like a skirmish and they have to break them up? Yeah. What if Roman Reigns is the one guy who actually stands up and he isn't destroyed by Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. There's a story there.
There's a story there. Exactly.
Right now, there's really no story.
Roman Reigns is the one guy who will stand up to the bully.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's just one of many possibilities here.
Yep.
What if Roman Reigns? What if Roman Reigns brings his family more into it, and they all fuck with Brock Lesnar? And that doesn't necessarily make Roman Reigns strong. It makes him manipulative. It makes him strong in the mind games. There's a million different things you can do with this, and none of which they've done. All they get is, let's put the camera on Roman Reigns and try to have him convince us that he's a good guy, I guess. That's what I've been getting from this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so frustrating because this could be a huge money match that I would be like, yes, I'm fine not getting a $200 refund, Larson. Let's all go to WrestleMania, do a lot of cocaine, and watch these matches.
Okay.
What, you wouldn't be okay with that?
I'm fine going to the matches.
Oh, okay. You don't want to participate in I don't even know how to get cocaine. I've never done it.
Not so much.
Life.
No, I don't.
I'm
not
no
interested.
idea. You know what scares me off of cocaine? Len bias. That would be me because I have that kind of luck. Like, that's why I just play it straight. It's like you just play it straight, you'll be fine because I'm the one guy who does coke once and I die.
Yeah.
So say no to drugs. So it's bollocks. And how do you think this match is going to go down? Is it going to go down as blandly as you think, as we all kind of think and suspect it could be?
I fear it will.
And Roman Reigns is going to do that weird head shake thing where he looks retarded. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm nearly certain that they want to have a moment like last year where Daniel Bryan wins the belts in this big cathartic, exuberant moment where everybody's celebrating and you got 70,000 people doing yes chants. I think they want that, and I wonder if they're kind of expecting that for Reigns, or if they were at one point at least. But now the audience isn't behind him enough.
The problem is,
period. There's no story. There's no catharsis to be had by him winning, really.
Right, exactly. It's just everybody will perceive it exactly as it is, and that's just, we got to get Reigns the belt somehow.
Yeah,
and they don't care if it makes sense or not. And I think they might be expecting. And again, I hate being presumptuous.
Yeah,
they might be expecting the same reaction that I think in their minds, like maybe the best case scenario for them is, and when Brock beat the Undertaker, like stunned but also celebratory. But like, I don't see any reason why anybody's going to celebrate this.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I think people will legitimately mark out is if they give Reigns his little sort of like at SummerSlam when Bryan finally won the belt. Give Reigns his little moment, have Rollins comes out, cash in, and beat him. I think people would mark the fuck out if that happened.
I think you're completely right.
Especially if Rollins did it, just if he didn't bring Mercury and Noble out, if he didn't have the authority out with him, he just comes out and does it.
Yeah,
people will mark the fuck out.
They would, but I don't think they want him to be that would just muddy up the situation so hard.
Oh, absolutely. Because
Rollins would be the biggest face in the company if that happened, and Reigns would be a weak pile of crap. He would be. It would. I mean, as much as I would love to see that, I kind of don't want to see it.
Yeah, I know.
Because that would it would kill it would just kill everything. It would be sad. I don't know. You know what I want to happen? This is what I want to happen.
What?
Reigns wins by count out, doesn't get the belt. The entire locker room comes down and celebrates and hoists them on their shoulders. I want a Lex Luger ending.
Yeah. Roman Reigns is the next Lex Luger.
He really is if you think about it. There's so many parallels there.
Yeah.
He's like Lex Luger and The Rock had a baby. That's what he's Rock Luger.
Let's lay some odds down here. Odds that Lesnar walks out of WrestleMania still champion.
What is lower than 0?
There is none lower.
There's none. Yeah, none. None. That's my odds.
I'm going to say 15%. I think there's a 15% chance if he re-signs, and especially if they might call an audible if the crowd reaction is firmly anti-Reigns. There's a slim chance that I think Lesnar can walk out.
I think there's no to speak in WWE pay-per-view parlance. There's no way out of this. Because
no, I agree. I don't think there is, but I'm just saying there's a slim chance that it could happen.
If Brock wins, the only way I think this could be interesting, and it's never going to happen. I mean, there's many ways it could be interesting, but if Brock just destroys Reigns like he did Cena that time,
I know
it's not going to happen. But I don't. Can you see any way? I mean, can you see any way the crowd is going to pop huge, barring Rollins coming in, cashing in, which would ruin everybody?
Here, this is something I thought of, and I haven't thought about it much, so maybe it's stupid. How about this for a finish or a match? Lesnar Reigns, they go toe to toe. It's a decent match. No one really has the upper hand for a good 15 minutes. Lesnar pulls out the match at the end, just barely, but they're both pretty beat to shit. Rollins comes out, tries to cash in, bell rings. He's about to pin Lesnar. Reigns destroys Rollins.
Okay.
Helps Lesnar keep the belt. So Lesnar still wins.
Yeah.
Reigns still looks like a good guy.
Yeah.
And not quite as weak. The only problem is that Rollins loses in that situation.
Yeah, I know and also the problem with that is exactly what you're talking about. If I think people mark out for Rollins, I think Reigns helping Rollins makes Reigns look even worse now.
Yeah.
Because people wanted Rollins to cash in. I think that makes Reigns look terrible. I like it. That's creative. Like I said, I think you're my favorite fantasy booker of everybody. Although Dan always has some good interesting tidbits here and there.
He does.
I'm terrible at fantasy booking because all my fantasy booking just comes with Reigns carries a gun to the ring.
Yeah, everything involves
Talk about a huge pop. Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to be in Levi Stadium if someone got shot.
No. Yeah.
That's bad enough. It's bad enough seeing someone get caught on fire at a wrestling match.
I think they're just going to do Reigns gets beat up. Reigns comes back from it.
Yeah.
And wins, which will work for so many other people, but it just doesn't fit him. Like, I could see that. Like, that'd be brilliant for Ziggler. It'd be brilliant for... Can you imagine Ziggler versus Lesnar? Like, even that's more believable because of how they've booked Ziggler as the guy who just can't be pinned. Like, he just keeps on kicking out.
Yeah.
And he's a rag doll, but he just keeps on doing it. He wears you down.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan, ultimate underdog, but always gets it done. Yeah. I mean, everybody else works perfectly.
There's inherent stories in the other.
That being said, Roman Reigns is still my best friend because he took a selfie with me, and that was the sweetest thing ever.
I know.
Yeah. Anyways,
what do you think? Let's. Granted, last year's WrestleMania was fantastic. It was an enjoyable show. WrestleMania 30 was an enjoyable show.
Of course, yeah.
So let's preemptively, without the show even happening, let's give WrestleMania 31 a grade, like on a scale of 1 to 10.
So we are going to preemptively
let's rate it.
Grade
it. Yeah, with let's assume like WrestleMania 17 is a 9 or a 10. WrestleMania 30 is an 8 or a 9.
Okay.
Like WrestleMania 9 is probably like a 2.
Okay.
Or 27 is probably a 2 or 3.
Okay. Can I ask you? I would prefer to grade this and then stick to the grade. Okay. Doesn't matter what the actual show, what happens. Like, this is the worst type of internet people. I want to either hate it or love it without even seeing it yet.
And then stick to that opinion after you've seen it. Yes.
Or backtrack, either way.
Well, then make sure you put some thought into this, because if there's no backtracking, you want to try to get something that's fairly accurate.
Fastlane would be like a 1, right?
1 or 2, yeah. It wasn't very good.
Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be optimistic.
Okay.
I'm going to say this is going to be a solid 7.
Okay.
I think.
And what's going to be the highlights? Give me 3 highlights.
Rollins Orton is going to stun. It's going to mesmerize. Yeah. It's going to make me face. There's that. I think surprisingly, what if they have Rusev just murder Cena?
That'd be great.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen, but it'd be great if it did.
I'm going to be cringing during the entire IC title match because of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I'm worried about Wade Barrett too, because he seems to get hurt a lot.
This is just they announced this, and you're right. He's like, okay, well, I get another 6 month vacation. I've got some bad news. Yeah, and then highlights. Orton Rollins, the IC title match. I think will be fun. Mm-hmm. The Andre the Giant probably be a clusterfuck. And then I think Rusev Cena might be fun. I don't know. Yeah, I don't foresee a lot of highlights, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm gonna say a 6.
Okay. Yeah.
Also I'll say Orton Rollins will probably be at least for solo matches, easily the match of the night.
Do you think there's gonna be any Rock Stone Cold Hogan-esque nostalgia moments? I think that was sort of, they spent that, and I don't know if they can do that again.
Yeah, I hope so. Being there, I hope something like that
Wouldn't
happens.
It be great if just every WrestleMania those 3 open the show? That would be amazing, and they did a little skit every time.
That'd be great.
Oh God, that'd be fantastic.
That would be great. Orton's Rollins. I'll say the IC title match, because there'll be some good spots, I'm sure. And then I'm looking forward to Triple H versus Sting, because I want to see what Sting still has in the tank. Whether he can still go.
Just watch TNA from a year ago.
No, that involves watching TNA. I'm not interested. To see what he's still got.
Right.
So that could easily either be a highlight or a low light.
Yes, absolutely.
Triple H is still capable of putting on a good match, as we saw last year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, sure.
So if nothing else, I think he can kind of carry.
Yeah, I forgot about that match. Yeah, you're right. Triple H thing, that'll be a highlight. Yeah.
And that's one of the matches where it feels like there's a lot of story and backstory too, and so on and so forth. And it would have been cool to hear Triple H mention his WCW days, but I guess we kind of knew that wasn't going to happen.
We need Triple H. We need Terror. I think
Terror Rising.
He might have alluded to it.
Yeah, he might have.
He did. I think because he was just there for a half a second.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because he said in 1996 I came to the WWE for an opportunity and I made the most of it. So he did. I don't think he outright said, "Yeah, I was terrorizing."
Yeah.
But I think it's implied. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, you say 6, I say 7. I think 7 because there's a lot of talent. I think they're all going to be itching to get into it. I'm really hoping that this whole give the Divas a chance thing is going to pay off with a really good Divas tag match.
I hope so.
And it wouldn't surprise me if it did.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. That's our WrestleMania prediction. Will it suck? I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll have to, on the Going in Raw with Dan following, we'll have to share our perspectives being there in person versus watching on TV.
Yes, absolutely.
So
counting I know when you pay me back my $200, I want them all in ones.
Okay.
No, I don't really want them all in ones.
You're going to get one $200 bill.
There you go. Just get a $2 bill and write 00 on it.
00 on it.
Yeah.
So you want to do something new today.
I figured because, no Dan, no match, book of the match, we would do because we were sort of seasoned wrestling fan vets.
Yeah.
We would do, I don't know what a good name for this segment would be. Steve and Larson Wrestling Memories.
That works for now.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out later. And we've been to a lot of shows in our day.
Yeah.
So we figured we would wax on one of our old wrestling memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our first one is going to be probably the one that is seared into our brain more than any of the other ones. Because we've been to WCW shows, we've been to WWF shows, WWE shows, Did you go to ECW?
Yeah, I went to their pay-per-view they had in
LA, yeah. And for today's episode, we've been to an XPW show.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know XPW, it was founded by a fella named Rob Black. Rob Black was a entrepreneur of adult cinema.
He was a pornographer.
He was a pornographer. And I think like a tax evader or something like that down the line. I forget what it was.
Yeah,
he did something else that landed him in the jail. Anyways, Rob Black was a porn guy of disrepute, and he wanted to get into the wrestling business during the Attitude Era. He did this in L.A. At the time, we happened to be in L.A., and they ran a show. They ran a bunch of shows. This particular one, do you remember what it was called?
No, I don't.
Probably, I forget what it was called. XPW. I don't know what it was called.
I'm sure it's on DVD, so you can look it up.
I have it on DVD.
Uh-oh.
The thing about XPW is that these guys were all like local indie wrestlers.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, every once in a while, like New Jack did a couple shows with them, and Vic Grimes did. There was some
later on, like Shane Douglas was involved and people like that. The thing about XPW that I didn't mind so much is that as raunchy as they were, they had some creativity going.
Yeah, and there was actually some good. It wasn't just all the extreme stuff too. They had some decent wrestlers.
They had some decent wrestlers. They had some creative wrestlers. They had some good angles. It wasn't all bad and raunch, although there was a lot of raunch to it. The match that stands out during this show that we were at.
Yep.
This was one of very few times in my life where I thought we need to get out of here because we could die. There was a portly fella named Supreme who was known as the king of the death match because he would do all sorts of fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
Watching XPW, I remember, was sort of the first time when I was like, I've never really considered a career as a wrestler, but now I know I'm never going to be a wrestler, nor would I ever want to be one.
Yeah.
Because if this is what these guys go through, because they're not getting paid shit.
Yeah.
And this guy, during this match, he was fighting against a wrestler. I forget who it was. But
was it Kid Chaos? Is that his name? It was something like that.
He might have been involved at the time. I don't know if that was specifically his opponent. But I remember there was an authority-type faction that he was sort of fighting against. And he they did the table on fire spot. And these
well, let's go back a bit because there was more leading up to that.
You go ahead. My memory is completely and totally exclusively of him getting lit on fire.
I think it was Kid Chaos he fought. I could be wrong. Anyways, it was I don't know if it was a death match per se, but it was an extreme rules match, whatever.
Right.
And I remember when we got there, and there were fluorescent tubes in the vicinity of the ring.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And so before the fire spot, they acted like those fluorescent tubes were lightsabers and started having sword fight with them. And of course, the tubes hit each other; they broke. And not only was all the gaseous powdery stuff, which I believe is toxic from the inside of the fluorescent tubes, came out in their faces in the ring, but a huge shard of fluorescent tube went shooting out towards the audience.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it overshot pretty much everybody and landed in a place where no one was sitting.
Yeah.
But fuck, that could have been really, really bad.
Yeah.
That, almost as much as the fire aspect of it, led me to believe that these guys really had no idea what they were doing, and we needed to get the fuck out of there.
Zero clue as to what they were doing.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the problem with going to indie shows, like super indie shows, is that you never really know that you're never sure. Like, if you go to a WWF show, nothing really bad is going to happen. I mean, you're safe. They take precautions.
Yeah.
Indie shows don't, by and large, I want to say. I mean, I would imagine a show like Pro Wrestling Grill in LA, they probably know what they're doing.
Yeah, they've done it enough times, I'm sure. They have a system in place.
A show like this, sometimes you think the people running it are like, yeah, the more fucked up, the better. Mm-hmm. Like, I could hear Rob Black saying that.
Yeah.
Anyways, during this segment with Supreme, Veronica Kane, I remember her name. I'm pretty sure she's the one who doused the table with gasoline. And as we know, as wrestling fans, we know, you put a little bit on, you light it, wait a second, and it'll go up. And it's not soaked through.
You put just enough on there so you get a little flame, and then the force of whoever goes through it will more or less put the fire out.
That'll put the fire out, exactly. Well, this lady, who I think double as a pornography actress.
Well, it was her, and it was also the Gigolo that were involved.
Oh, the Jig. That's right. He was part of that faction. That's right.
Yeah, who we had seen maybe 3-4 years prior at a local show here in Sacramento.
Yeah, and so she proceeds to just douse.
She put some on, tried to light it, no luck. Poured more on, tried to light it, no luck. I think she did it like 2, 3, 4 times,
right.
And by the end of that, there must have been half an inch of lighter fluid on that table.
Yeah, and so the problem is when somebody then gets power bombed through that and they're on fire, their clothes are now soaked in that stuff because it's not all immediately gone up in flames. Yeah. Like it's still there under the layer of fire.
Yeah.
So somebody gets power bombed, like Supreme got laid out through the table. He's soaked in that. Now he's on fire.
Yes.
And he starts running around the ring.
He rolls through the bottom rope and starts running around the ring. Yes.
And what do they? And I seem to remember them putting out the table fire first.
I kind of remember that too.
But I think I looked it up online. Like it's on YouTube. You can YouTube search Supreme XPW Fire, and you'll see you might see us in the crowd. I don't know. Supreme gets put through. He starts running around. He's on fire. And they put out the table. They put out him eventually, and he was engulfed in flames.
Yeah,
it was absolutely horrifying.
Yeah,
and when he started running around, I remember distinctly thinking, A, I'm about to see somebody die. I legitimately thought that, and B, there's a fire in the ring, and there's a lot of people in here, and this could spell stampede.
Yeah.
So it was all bad.
Yeah.
They stretchered him away. After they put him out, he puts his hand up, and you can see flesh dripping from his bone. Mm-hmm. It was fucked up.
It was fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't leave after that. We stayed till the end of the show, though.
Well, we were pretty desensitized. When you're in your 20s, you're desensitized.
Not that much.
Not that much. Yeah, I know. But maybe if we were closer, I don't know. Maybe we should have. Like I can guarantee if it was today, I'd be like,
oh, yeah, I'm principled.
Fuck this. I'm out of here.
Fuck this shit.
These guys are fucked up. I would call the cops and say they just lit a guy on fire. And this is an anonymous call because I don't want Rob Black coming into my apartment and chopping off my fingers. Mm-hmm. That's a story for another day. We should just do XPW stories.
We could.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's our first episode of Going In Raw. Sans Dan NerdCubed. We want to thank Dan for giving us his full blessing to do this because we just love talking about wrestling.
We do.
And so next week we'll see. We're going to see about guests, but it might just be me and you again. But this is going to be every single week. On
every Tuesday except the Monday following pay-per-views, we'll do the traditional Going In Raw with Dan. We'll stick to that schedule. So the day after WrestleMania, there'll be a Going In Raw with Dan discussing WrestleMania, what comes next. So that will be unchanged, but every other episode will be on Tuesday.
Yep, absolutely. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. And thank you very much.
Thanks for watching my still video. I'm just going to keep this version up. It's like been like just a still shot of me. And then your video is fine.
That's weird because you're there and I'm at home.
I know, it's bizarre. This is I gotta update my rig, man. I gotta get my shit together.
Yeah, that makes both of us.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Goodbye. Rolling over here.
Yeah. All right. What should I say? Sure.
Sometimes they're from somebody.
When a glitch doesn't. How about this?
A fly flew right in front of me.
I know. God fucking damn it, dude. I can't try. I can't. I mean, it's what I got.
Let me do it then. Ride to hell, Retribution! Yes, and you gotta mix things up a little bit. Remember, ripping off our old show. They're bits on each other like this.
O-face. I've had dry humping O-faces before. They're not as ecstatic as the ones in Ride to Hell.